Hey everyone, welcome to the Weather Show with Vin Crosby live stream. We're going to do some live streaming here. As soon as I get a little drink of water. Pretty cool weather pattern developing out there. Already seeing some clouds move on in from the south and west. There's some radar echoes showing up, and we got a lot of moisture. It's going to move on in from the southwest into the cold air, and it's going to be a winter wonderland again in the Treasure Valley early tomorrow morning. So that's what we're looking at. I want to get to a lot of graphics. I made a lot of cool graphics for you here. I don't see my comment section here. So I don't know who's watching. So I'm going to have to look around and see if I can find where my comment section is, so I can see who is talking to me out there and who is watching. Let me go and look this way. Oh, I see myself up there. That's a good sign. A good sign. And it looks like I have... Yeah. Looks like I got everything going here. Going to hunting tomorrow. That's awesome. You're going to love it. A little snow. Out in the snow in eastern Idaho. That's going to be great stuff. Out here live. Having fun. Let's see what this looks like. All right. I guess we do have some comments and stuff there. You can do stickers. You can add comments. There's even, if you want to send some money my way, that would be cool too. You got all kinds of options here on the old weather show. All right, so here's a setup with a satellite picture. You can see the clouds coming in. First of all, right up and through here, this is where, I've got the wrong interaction on. So this is right here, those lights. There's your Treasure Valley, Boise, Nampa, Caldwell, and on up towards Ontario. So a lot of the lights down there indicating where the clear skies are now disappearing. Clouds moving on in from the south and the west. And as I rotate out of here, you can see the big circulation spinning back to our south and west. And also down by San Francisco and the Sierra Nevada mountains, clouds building there, but that's where the moisture is at this time. So that's where we are. And I want to take a look at the radar to show you where the precipitation is right now. You can see a lot of it streaming down to the south and west over the Sierra Nevada already. The mountains around Donner Pass getting snow, and the roads will become more and more treacherous as we go through overnight hours in eastern areas of Oregon, back towards southwest corners of Idaho, and throughout much of Nevada. But the big controlling storm system and the storms that are lining up globally, I'm seeing some real cool stuff in the overall weather pattern that I made some great graphics. I'm going to break that down for you too coming up. It shows a very nice snowy pattern coming our way right on through the month of December. And so there's a real high probability and good chance if you're into all that nostalgia of a white Christmas, but we are looking pretty good here across the Treasure Valley, if you like that snow. But if you don't like the snow, you're not in luck. So observations right now, temperatures are plenty cold for snow. Temperatures down across the Treasure Valley right now in Boise down by the airport, 28 degrees. 28 degrees back right around the Meridian Road exit along Interstate 84. 30 degrees a little bit westward. And then as you go out towards Nampa, we got temperatures around 29, 31 degrees. And then as we continue on towards Caldwell, 29 degrees. I know a lot of folks were out there tonight having a good time out there with the, I think it was the Caldwell Night Light Parade. I believe that's what was going on. Saw that with KTSY 89.5 on the radio out there. My good friend Brian Yeager talking about that. And then back up here towards Black Cat, 27 degrees. New Plymouth, you're getting up around the mid-20s. So you get the picture. The cold air is in place across the Treasure Valley, across the mountains. The moisture is moving on in from the southwest. So here is the way things shape up, and I want to say this is the one I want. I believe that is the second one. So it'll be this one here. So here's a nice breakdown of the picture. You can see an area of low pressure that is offshore. There's Boise, a good spin of moisture coming our way from the south and the west, and that will continue to bring a pretty good amount of moisture in from the south and west as this controlling area of low pressure offshore. I mean, look at the size of that thing. That thing is ginormous. It's almost encompassing the whole west coast as far as the depth of it, as the cold front, very clear, pushing down in towards Southern California. A lot of moisture being pulled up too and then split. It's fanning right where that moisture arrow is. You can see that's kind of the center, but then there's a band of clouds that goes to the left. There's a band of the clouds down to the bottom right-hand corner of your screen that goes to the right. That is what we call diffluence in the atmosphere. A great pattern to bring moisture in down by the surface. So that's kind of how that works out there. Now, here's the big story of this system. There are several areas of storms back towards the northwest behind this one. And so that is, as if I come and take this, oh, I don't want that. We'll get to the forecast page in a little bit. I believe it's this one. Yeah. So this one here, you can see there are tremendous amounts of storms back towards the west. You can see down by the Aleutian Island chain up by Alaska. That's that little finger of islands that go out in the Pacific Ocean. And then there's another big area of low pressure on the far left-hand side of your screen. That's another big area of low pressure that's back out there. So several storms lining up to come on through. Now, back to our north and east, that purple line you see there being drawn up there just north and east of Boise, that is a core of Arctic air, the controlling polar vortex that all these storms will kind of guide underneath. And this is going to do a very, very interesting thing over the next, say, 2 weeks or so with the global weather pattern. And so the next map you're going to see here is us looking from the North Pole, right on top of the North Pole, on down to the globe, and then you're going to see the whole northern hemisphere here. So let me see if I can pull this up and pull this off. Yeah, that's it right there. So you can see that whole outline, that shape, if you will, of that core of air to the north of Boise. You can see that right there. That pattern, right, is going to do a little bit of, well, one of two things. The first part of it is, I got to bring them, what do I want to do here? Don't mind me, I didn't have my ducks in a row. I love the streaming. I could never do this when I worked in television. More flexibility here streaming, and that totally helps you. And I think there's a third one. Third one. Maybe I didn't load it in. Oh, that would be not very cool. All right, well, maybe I can do some improvising here. Oh, there's 3, there's 2. I've got this. All right, so one more time. We got this pattern right here with the Arctic cold air. You can see that all in the purple kind of fuchsia color. And there's 2 cores, one on this side of the globe, one on the other side of the globe. And then what we'll see with this is this pattern here will make a little shape or move back towards the west, closer to Boise. And then once that first one kind of moves on through, then the second one will kind of wobble on through and come in our direction across the region. So that is what we're looking at with this system over the next couple of days. So there's a lot that goes into it. So it's basically there's one core that's going to wobble in our direction, and then the other is going to come in our direction. So if I go down here to the satellite image and bring this back into play, now I get to do my favorite thing and draw to kind of really break it down for you of what's going on with the global weather pattern up there to our north. All right, drawing time, mouse draw, it's on. All right, so right now, the way the pattern is, you can see these clouds up here kind of streaming down in this direction right there, right? So this is where that core of low pressure is. That's where we're seeing a pretty good push of cold air to our north. On the other side of the globe, if I take this off, the other stuff we're not even seeing yet. So on the other side of the globe, like way out over here on the other side though, there's another little core. So what we're going to see happen is this first area that's up there to our north, right? This right up through here. That one is going to, let me change my color. This is going to come this way. It's going to move in a more westward pattern. As a system kind of rotates around it, it'll draw some of that cold air back to the west. And so when that happens, it's going to help carve out a path to help bring in a shape of the jet stream out in the Pacific Ocean to bring us a little bit more storminess back here towards the Pacific Northwest. So the big kicker, though, of all this is going to be when the other area that's back over on the other side of the globe right now that we don't see, that is going to carve itself this way and come in something like this, where we get the Arctic air kind of pushing in. And then that's going to open up the avenue with the cold air in place for several storms to kind of move on into the west. And then that is going to bring, you know, snow in a more frequent amount. So the mountains already have gotten just a tremendous amount of snow to help with our snowpack. We're doing really well after the last storm and then the storm that we had, of course, at the beginning of November. Now, we are going to see a lot of this activity kind of pick up here. And we're talking like maybe, I'm going to say a guarantee of 3 disturbances coming our way over the next 2 weeks. And then going into the second half of December, once that core of cold air kind of rotates around the North Arctic region and sets up the way I think it's going to set up, then we're going to see several storms move in our direction. So does that make sense? Hopefully it makes a little bit of sense. Oh, boy. Hi, William. I see you out there messaging. Good deal. And no Easton. And Dan the man. Dan, you're going to have fun. Easton hunting, that's great. Hope you nail it. Just crush the birds. I love that dog. I went over Dan's for Thanksgiving, and his wife just put on a great spread, and it was just a great time. But their dog, I'm telling you, one of the prettiest dogs you ever see. Great hunting dog. And Dan takes it hiking in the foothills, and this dog, you know, where he'll do 2 miles, the dog will do 15 going back and forth, he says. So, yeah, thanks for the comment, Dano. Thanks for watching. And William, yeah, I know you love the snow, man. I always thank you, too, for all your support through the years. All right, so let me show you some more forecast pages that I put together that'll really show you exactly where I think a lot of the snow is going to go with this storm. So a lot of times this that I'm going to show you here, and then maybe I should hide the other thing. I don't know why that's up there. There, that's a little bit better. Here's a forecast model where we're seeing the snow amounts come on in. So the blue there, the darker navy blue, is about a tenth of an inch. Then you get into the lighter shade of blue, that's about an inch. And then you get up to around 4 inches in the green, and then 6 inches in the lighter green, and 8 inches in the yellow. So you can see there's a lot of snow in eastern Oregon. 1, 2, 3 inches of snow, some pockets of 4 and 6. So we're not looking for a tremendous amount of snow. Unless you're going down 95, then you can see there are some good bands of some snow coming on in through there. And in a moment, this is going to zoom in, so it'll help you see a little bit better of where a lot of these snow totals are going to accumulate. But there is going to be a band of snow coming on in the overnight hours. Right now, looking at where the radar is, it's probably going to start flurrying in light snow in extreme southeastern areas of Oregon, and then that's going to expand towards the east-northeast. And right around 11 o'clock, midnight, we should start to see maybe a few flakes of snow come down in the Treasure Valley. Here you get a pretty good idea. Let me get my little zoom here. There you go. Boise's that white dot there. That's the city of Boise. So here comes the snow on in overnight. We get a little bit, and then you get a trace. The higher elevations getting a little bit more. But generally in the Treasure Valley, we're looking on the order of 1 to 2 inches of snow. Looks like there's a thin little band of maybe 2 inches, maybe 3 inches, just southeast of Boise going down towards Mountain Home. This going on in towards the overnight hours to the early morning hours tomorrow. So we're talking between the hours of midnight, maybe up around 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, but the ground will be covered in white across the Treasure Valley, and more great snow for the ski areas. Look at Bogus getting into the act up around McCall. Some more good snow. All the resorts are open now, so it's fantastic if you like to ski. And then the Sierra Nevada. Look at that stuff down to the southwest. I mean, those are tremendous amounts of snow totals coming on through those regions. This is a good little map here, too, that we're going to look at. This is pretty fun. It's one of the better products that the National Weather Service has. Not only does it show the temperatures, but it also we can put some overlays on there. So I can take off these observations, and now let me put on what the computer model forecasts from the National Weather Service. They use what's called a blend forecast. Oh, not this again. Is it not going to let me do that? Well, stink. That just ruins my whole... Well, you have to take my word for it. We're just going to have to take my word for it. Oh, my goodness. I'm going to put the dew points on here with the surface observation. So this tells you how dry the air is. So as moisture falls into the colder, into this air, the dry air, and the evaporation process kind of happens. And what I'm getting at is there's no chance for rain out of this. It is going to be all snow. And then with the temperatures already down here into the upper 20s, we are looking for slick conditions. It's going to stick real quick is what I'm trying to say. So once it starts coming down around midnight, going into the overnight hours, towards the daybreak hours, that's when we'll start to see some real slick roads during the early morning hours tomorrow. What else did I make here that I haven't shown you yet? Well, I guess the forecast page, we can just go and take a look at these. I kind of teased a little earlier. So yeah, tonight I think what's going to happen is we'll see the snow come on in overnight tonight, probably starting around 11, 12 o'clock tonight. And then it'll start coming in bands of snow to get, some wind-driven snow, although not a lot of wind with this system. I like 1 to 3 inches of snow across the Treasure Valley, very slick roads. Some pockets will be closer to 3. Some areas will get a little 1. So it's coming from the southwest. So that's going to play a part in it as well as it goes over the Oahe Mountains. And then the next system that's out in the Pacific, this one right out through here, let me show you. So clearing, we don't want to draw, I want to drag. All right. So this is the one that's coming through now. This thing's kind of going to wobble and do its thing right here, but there's another one that's back out through here. So this thing that is back out here is going to come through, and it's going to take its time, but once this kind of does its thing, there's a ridge of high pressure that's in here that's kind of deflecting things. That's going to break down eventually this week and allow these things to move on in. And when that happens, it looks like we'll get more light snow, because with this configuration, the cold air is just going to stay intact. So we're not going to have to worry about any warming, any chances of rain, and the inversion patterns kind of here. And so another round looks late Thursday, going into Thursday night, into Friday morning. Prior to that, though, it looks dry. We'll probably have to deal with some fog and some inversion type conditions with the snow on the ground, the fresh snow across the Treasure Valley, especially in the West End Valley locations where that cold air sinks down into the valley floors. We'll have to deal with some of that ice fog and all that good stuff. So on that note, I see a little delay of my video behind what I'm working with here, and I'm just noticing. I like to talk with my hands a lot. I like doing this. I have no idea why. I just do, right? All right, so here's the forecast page. So this is Thursday. I think from 4 p.m. to really the morning hours to around Friday noon. I believe the next round will come on through. I don't think it's going to be as heavy as this round, though. I think it's just an inch or two, again, providing some pretty slick roads. That's going to go on in through Thursday of next week. And then overnight tonight, we'll have this snow, where I think tonight's going to get closer to 2 to 3 inches is what I'm trying to say. And then next, right now, it could change, but right now it doesn't look as heavy this upcoming Thursday night into Friday. And, of course, the timing of that could change. But at this point, it looks like it's going pretty good across the region. Now I understand all the comments there. See, I'm old, Dano. I'm a Philly fan. I'm old because I thought you were going hunting in Easton. I totally brain farted. Your dog's name is Easton. Oh, boy. Any of this snow hit Portland by any chance? I know we have a lot of folks tuning on in. If you're watching, let me know where you're watching from. I see we have some folks watching from Portland. Portland is, a little tricky, but if it's going to be that second core of cold air, let me answer that question there for you. So if you're just tuning in, I showed this pattern earlier. So this is the Arctic pattern that is going on across the globe, and there's two cores, one there and one there. When the second one moves on through of this Arctic pattern, so it would be this one here. So what's going to happen, the first one is going to kind of move on through, and you'll see a buckle right there. It kind of goes a little bit towards the west, but the one that's back over on the other side of the North Pole, that one's going to buckle. And when that one starts to buckle, for Portland and some of the areas that typically don't see snow. So when this happens right here, and that other piece comes around the North Pole, that's when I think, things are going to light up for snow around the Portland area. So right now, let's go back to draw because I love drawing. That's why I became a meteorologist. I'm pretty confident about that. All right, so So Portland has a tough time getting snow, Seattle and all that. They need that Arctic air. So the second round of Arctic air, when that comes in, right now the pattern is kind of like, let's see if I can do a little drawing. So the pattern's kind of like this. This is going up into here. There's a ridge right in through there. And that's kind of where the weather pattern is, with this other area low pressure kind of cut off underneath, right? And then the disturbances are coming in from the south. What's going to happen, this right here is going to retrograde. It's going to come down from the west. And when that happens, the pattern that is back over here is going to start pinwheeling in our direction. And I think what's going to happen probably, after this one comes through on Thursday and we go in towards, at the tail end of 2 weeks, we'll start to see a pattern like this, where the Arctic air comes over in this direction here. Something like that. And when that happens, there'll be enough cold air for even like areas like Portland and Seattle and coastal areas to even have a chance at some snow with that pattern, because then we're also going to have, many storms out here that will track on in underneath that jet stream. So hopefully that's making a little sense. But yeah, so it does look like a pretty good snow year. So I don't know if you watched, I posted my annual winter weather outlook. I am a compulsive person. I like to go to extremes. And so I didn't just do the Northwest. I said, I'm going to do every state. Now, I already had some comments on the video that, hey, it looks a little underdone in the Treasure Valley. We, in Boise and our areas here, we usually, average 20 inches of snow for the season. I get that. I kind of tried to verbalize it, but I do think, to break it down, at least for Boise, I do think that we are going to see a little bit less than normal snow around Boise, and then a little bit less to the west. I think the map had it, 2 to 4 inches, something like that, but I think it's going to be closer to like 10 inches around Nampa, Caldwell for the year, and then a little bit more as you go towards the east, over 20 as you get down towards maybe Mountain Home. But that's kind of the way I'm seeing things shake down for the Treasure Valley. The other areas, I think, are going to be just fine. The mountains, of course, look tremendous. They're already getting a great snowpack. So I think it's going to be great news for the drought this year back across much of the West. So real good stuff there. Awesome. We've got 9 people out there. It's wonderful that you're watching. And I know this will go on the feed, and many people will be checking it out over the next couple of days. So I think I've done everything I wanted to do. You get the gist of it. I think it's time to get some food. If you haven't subscribed, please do. There's a chance for you to give donations there on the feed, which is always nice. But the big thing, if you want to help me out, is just share this to your feeds and friends and family, and that's the greatest thing. And then watch the videos. That's how we make money on YouTube. It's not a lot of money, but some people are making tons of money at doing this, which is fun. I love doing this, and it helps me with my weather consulting. I'm doing a lot of weather consulting now, and I enjoy that. And that's where I see the future of Vin Crosby going in the days to come. So just to get folks caught up, got severance from Best Buy, so I've got some money to hang out. I don't know, I've been living paycheck for most of my life. So got about a month or two to go, and I was up for a job. I thought I was guaranteed this job. It didn't happen. So reality check there, humbling, but in a good spot. I love helping people. I love doing stuff like this. And so we'll be doing more of this. I'm looking forward to seeing the snow tomorrow morning. The nice winter wonderland, very Christmassy if you're into that sort of thing. I may even have to go do some Christmas decorations tomorrow. But be safe on the roads. I really think that it's going to be slick out there for your Sunday morning commute, especially those of you who are going off to church and stuff like that. It could be real slick, especially on some of those bridges and some of the overpasses. All right, you guys have a great night.